Thanks for joining us today. We're here in our new Somerville, New Jersey office, which is more of our business headquarters, where we're working hard on some of the new products that we're launching. My name is Bryan Wagner, here with CPS, and I'd also like to introduce some of our team.
My name is Zhehan Yi. I'm the Utility and Energy Storage Product Director here with the CPS.
I'm James Oswald. I'm Service Director for CPS. I'm out of the Texas office, the Innovation Center, and the Rework Center that we have in Texas.
I'm Anton Patton. I'm the Product Management and Applications Engineering Director with CPS out of our California office.
Yeah, so we're ultimately here working on some of the products we're currently working with, but also the ones we're working on next. So I think today we're featuring our 275, which actually we have out on something like 1,000 acres of solar panels getting commissioned right now. We have two key projects in a 35 megawatt in Arizona and 105 megawatt in Montana that we've been working on probably for well over a year. And the team's been working very, very hard. We're very thankful for all the folks at CPS and our customers for trusting us in those projects. And there's just a lot we learned through this process that we wanted to kind of highlight today from a design perspective.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely been exciting to work with our customers on a lot of these big projects with our new utility scale solutions that we're bringing to the market, going from just inverters to, the full solution for these projects, inverters, balance the system, transformers, skids. With that comes a lot of additional scope and complexity that we've been working through with our customers, looking at their designs, what needs to be considered for all the equipment working well together.
And probably at the heart of that is we first look at 3, 5 years, 10 years out, how will we service the plant? So James here in our service department, heading up that team, which is a fast growing department, probably the fastest growing department in CPS right now. With the amount of projects we have, we're nearing 20,000 solar plants. So there's a lot we have to service, but I think, James, you want to talk a little bit about how we think about this product and some of the improvements we're making?
So on this product and on these sites, it's been somewhat of a learning experience. It's big. It's bigger than we're normally used to doing, but it's also very similar. So it's still the basic turn on, the basic setups. There are some newer nuances to these. We're using the ACPLC and this one, the one big one that we're doing, that's new. So we've run into some glitches there that we had to work ourselves through. It's also the first one with our skids. So we found some stuff with the skids, some different problems, some ends where they had miswiring and stuff that we had to fix and correct for them on the auxiliary transformer sides. That is new to us. That's not something we were normally servicing or repairing. So we're learning on that. Future repairs should be very similar to what we do now with a remove the unit, replace the unit. Can do some repairs on the field. So we're slowly working our way into it and learning it as we see the sites. Because like I said, it's a lot larger than what we normally have been to.
We think a solar project is a solar project. So 100 kilowatt, 100 megawatt, the fundamentals of building solar is what we've helped our customers do for many years and ultimately speed them up. So I think what we're trying to do as a company is obviously get better internally, work on ourselves more and more so that we can ultimately service the utility segment at a quicker pace. We feel, say, a 40, 50 week lead time with some of our competitors, and we can offer you the same power range in 4 or 5 days. Really, 4 or 5 weeks is what we kind of ask for, but 4 or 5 days we could probably commit to getting the inverters on site. It creates a little bit of a construction advantage, right? If you're trying to manage 4 or 5 projects and you're bringing 5 50 megawatt projects online or something, string gives you a lot of flexibility. And especially if you're using like technology, you're deploying on one site, say in Texas, where James is, or where Z is in California or Anton, and where we are here in New Jersey. You could be doing all of those at the same time, and maybe one schedule's ahead of the other or push back. Gives you a lot of flexibility, and I think that's why we're seeing such great demand right now for our products in the utilities growing segment. Utility's still growing, but it's not growing the same way it was, say, 3 or 5 years ago. It's just not. And there's a lot of our competitors that obviously are facing supply constraints, all kinds of challenges. I mean, if you're making, say, a central inverter and you're storing that in a facility, you need a lot more space. You have to pay a lot more for that space. So there's many advantages we've been realizing through our customer interactions to make them successful. Z, you have anything to add?
For smaller projects, CNI project, we offer the chance like the inverters. But for utility, we actually are getting more involved with the customers from the design phase. Starting from design phase, would work closely with the customer, what kind of inverter would be best fitting their project. And the BOS that we're offering can benefit their project, and especially with the 800 volt challenges in the market. It's just still new to the entire utility market, like 800 volt BOS, breakers, and also, those protections. That's, I think, we're working on the next, or, in the future, that we are going to provide more of that products to support our customer in the projects.
That's right.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely been part of, the learning experience of working with our customers on these big projects, and the transition to 800 volt AC, which is new to the industry.
Yeah.
And has enabled the high power string to be used on these large scale projects with the limited amount of 800 volt solutions in the market today, is why we've, decided to bring more of the 800 volt BOS, more products that our customers can use with our inverters, to allow them to have these designs and equipment that's readily available. Yeah, that's been a part of it. And then really, working in this utility scale space, which has historically been mostly central inverters, and the transition to string with these new string inverter solutions that we have, has taken kind of working closely with the designers, the engineers, and developers on sort of communicating the benefits, the design considerations, everything needed to really put a well-designed project together.
Yeah, a lot of our incumbent competitors in the utility space for U.S. market have been, usually doing now maybe a handful of projects a year. If they're doing 4 or 5, 200, 300 megawatt type projects in a year or larger, that takes a lot of focus and execution on few. Mm-hmm. We have 20,000 roughly experiences of all kinds of different climates, regions, types of projects, mistakes we've made, mistakes customers have made in construction.
Yeah.
So I think as we are deploying some of this technology, I think our customers are actually shocked because they haven't worked with us before in utility to see how deep we can go. It's not like we can stop with James, fortunately for James, right? And we can just keep going down the line in our internal process that we actually call the Lightspeed system that helps us speed up to create that support. One of us at the table, or here might be tied up, but there's a team that's supporting the customer that eventually, as we're working through the commissioning process or even prior to the commissioning process, you're learning who do you go to on that team. We had a call come in. Remember, call came in over lunch today. I didn't even know, what I should do, or I was just reaching out. Great. Thanks for calling. Could I talk to so-and-so? Yes. Give them a call. And that's how we handled it. And I think that's what we're trying to do every single time is that's how we are different, have a human touch, human element to our customer service and not rely on a 1-800 number that you're just prompting through all day long and waiting for 5 hours for a call. We eventually will get, improve so much at this that we'll be making proactive calls to ensure, hey, things are turning on and, I saw this issue. We're not there yet. We're getting there. But as you can imagine with 20,000 projects, we have a lot going on. But that's our goal.
Yeah, and I think the closer we can work with our customers throughout the design, engineering, commissioning process, the more, we can make sure they're supported throughout the whole project life cycle. And then we can also, gather feedback of what, new solutions, what improvements we can bring to provide the best.
Speaking of new, we have a 250, 275 dual active power rating. We decided let's launch the 250 as a standalone product, which has the higher 10% kVA overhead built in. These are little things we think about, right? We're saying, okay, we had this challenge with 300 units off the line. Let's make this improvement. And I think the quality, the reliability, all these teams, both US and overseas, is things we're often always thinking about. How do we improve? Not only adding to the team and adding great new talent, but how do we work together? How do we collaborate? CPS being collaboration, passion, service. CPS, what we what we feel is our values. That collaboration is something we work relentless on, on a daily or weekly basis to improve.
So previously we talked about the 275 inverter for our PV projects here in the U.S., especially in the utility sector. So here with CPS, we're also having a plan to carry out our larger products, that is the utility energy storage systems, together with our CNI energy storage systems. So we're going to be carrying both the PCS and the battery storage as a turnkey solution. It's very different for energy storage. For PV, it's more like the panels and the inverter, they can do mix and match. But for energy storage, it's very different because it has a lot of integration work before you can make the system work in the field. So there are a lot of new regulations like the UL 9540 that has to be done to ensure the system is going to be reliable and safe in the field. The solution that we're offering is including everything with the PCS and energy storage and the battery itself. So we make it like a turnkey solution for the customer. So customer don't have to worry about where to get when I get a battery, where do I get a PCS? Or when they get the PCS, where they can get a battery.
Yep.
We are offering as a turnkey solution. And especially for the CNI, it's coming pretty soon. So we're actually offering a 125 and a 250 kilowatt system. Both of them are 2 hours for the commercial markets.
Yeah, and we obviously historically have been mostly focused in the commercial industrial markets. I've done, obviously many projects in that space for three-phase string. Leaders, market share-wise, the last 7 of 8 years.
Yeah.
We have one large reseller, ODM partnership. Most of what we do is with our direct brand. And that's our plan going to market with energy storage to go mostly direct to the market. It's very complex, very engineering heavy design. We have to think about service. Obviously that's a good probably segue to talk a little bit about our history in storage as CPS the last, say, 2-3 years, after product launches, right? We've learned a lot.
Yeah, we've done quite a bit of service on the battery systems that we have out. We have a smaller CNI system. Had it out for a little over 3 years now.
Yep.
I believe. So
a couple different generations.
Yeah. We've done a lot of the service on it. We've discovered a lot of different service topics that need covered, and we've learned a lot. So going into the new CNI, we're going to be more prepared. We're also going to have a system installed out in the Richardson office so that we can do testing and integration and try to recover from any faults that may happen, and we can see them and do the work out there before we go out to the systems and do the repairs. So.
Yep. And so I want to talk a little bit about timing with our turnkey ESS product for the commercial customers.
So we're expecting the CNI energy storage, which is the 100 and 250 kilowatt system, is going to be ready by end of this year.
So we think around RE Plus in September, we'll likely launch a couple new products, fully launch with, usually that usually means with UL. Yeah. So both energy storage, CNI, turnkey, both products, right?
Yeah.
And we're adding a third in the mix. We'll have our 350 with UL, we believe, by then as well. New 350 kilowatt string for utility scale coming out as well. So exciting time. I think when we think energy storage, we do obviously all know as an industry this is first inning, second inning maybe of starting. We're a little bit behind, but we actually went really methodical and slow, deliberate, and made mistakes. And we hope we recovered with all of our customers. Sometimes you make mistakes together to try things out. And we believe, each and every one that worked with us in the beginning on energy storage will be with us, working with us in this next generation. So it's exciting time, really exciting time. It's not easy to do more than one thing well.
Yeah.
We're trying to do that now where, our whole business has been centered around one thing, three-phase string. Now we're getting into these other product categories, which gets harder, right? It means a lot more training, a lot more staff, a lot more hours sometimes. But no, exciting to have Z supporting this product line. And do you want to give them a little glimpse into the future, maybe as we head into end of the year in 2024 on energy storage as well?
Yeah. So like the entire energy market, like energy storage market in the US is growing very fast. I guess there were some challenges like from supply chain in the last year, but you can see the market is like doubling, like every year, kind of doubling. But energy storage is really like just in the past 5 years development, right? So it's kind of still new to the market. As you mentioned, we are stepping into the energy storage market. We have to do it carefully and slowly. We don't want to,
Grow too fast.
grow too fast in the product. We have to grow the team as well.
Yes.
For CNI side, I guess we are pretty much more prepared because we have the foundation here with the CNI PV inverters. And we're also building the foundation for the utility. So the utility energy storage, we're also working on that and hoping to have the product in 2024 for utility large containers.
Yeah, so the battery container is something that Chint will make, CPS will make its own product for the U.S. market, and pretty much deliver the entire, could be solar plus storage or even standalone.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that. Again, almost two new segments in one, if you will, with standalone being another part of our business we can add. And for those that don't know, we actually manufacture, a sister company of ours manufactures transformers. So we actually have $1 billion transformer business. So that's another part of the full system you could deliver to the U.S. market. And we're working on that as well. But we're not too far into that. We're mostly focused PV side, inverter side, and now storage as our two main focal points. Yeah.
It's definitely exciting to be bringing these solutions to the market, especially like you mentioned, sort of where the PV market is going, transitioning to more energy storage being added or even energy storage standalone, with all the different industry trends, market updates, incentives around energy storage. It's really exciting to be a part of that impact and bring these solutions that'll meet these needs, and building off of our first generation systems that we've deployed in the field, gotten that experience, kind of lessons learned, things we can include and add for our next generation of energy storage, based on the needs from our customers, not just for CNI, but also utility scale, looking at that being part of the 800 volt solutions that we're bringing, having energy storage options as well.
Yep.
Like our 200 kW PCS, that's designed for integrating battery storage for these large utility scale projects.
And a lot of what our leadership's working on really is what's next. That's some of what we're doing today and this week is working on some of the strategies and the products for what's next, while our existing, business is, really still growing at a rapid pace. So it's kind of hard sometimes to live in both of those worlds. I guess, how do you guys think about that? And how do you balance both?
So the balance between them is hard to reach sometimes, but it's getting better at it. We have to service what we have now.
Yeah.
And we have to take care of that. Even our old products that we still have floating out there that are obsolete.
Yeah.
Some of those are still needed service, but you also have to look at what you're going to do next, how you're going to step up into the utility market, and how you're going to man up to cover these big sites that are out there. And energy storage is going to require more people. So, you have to keep looking at that.
Yeah, I think the strategy is always the strategy.
Yeah.
Right. We can continue to work on that, which we do work hard on, but obviously you got to execute and you need the people. So I think we're lucky that way, where we have I think the best team in solar. While we're not that big yet in energy storage, we can't say we're the best team in energy storage yet. We think we're thinking in the way of how do we repeat what we did to the next category or two categories. That's mostly what I guess keeps me up, because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of work, a lot of training.
I think as we look at our product roadmap, there's tons of different ideas we have, different products we could, bring to the market. But, I think that balance is making sure we're bringing, products that we know we can support and support well.
That's right.
Grow our team like we've been doing to support additional segments, or really, being focused and prioritize, what meets the market needs, and also what we can make sure we're going to be there to support.
All teams and all R&D teams are obviously different, investments, companies, right? You could have a $40 billion company that has zero R&D on your segment. So we're lucky in the way that we like to focus on where we can win. I usually call blue ocean a red ocean. I think for us is more thinking in operations, both commercial, service, these kind of operations is, how do you create something that's repeatable, sustainable, and that won't grow too fast to ultimately crumble. And that's hard because we're in such a fast growing industry. There's a lot of, I think, things to chase. So we've done a really good job maybe in the last year, 2 years to pretty much cancel some things that are some ideas, and put some other ones in front of them, right? Because just because you even spend time on product development, you don't actually have to come to market with a product. You can pour a ton of resources and things into things that never productize and commercialize. And I think you have to. I think we're getting better at that. Really at CPS Labs, we're maybe 20 products in right now, and not all 20 will release to the market. But I think our goal is to get up to 100 products. If we work really hard on that in the next year or 2 years, we could have some interesting things that change, again, for customers, how they can get in, get off, in construction world. That's what you're trying to do. We want to thank you again for listening in. This is something that we're appreciative of your time and something we'll be doing more of into the future, to bring CPS updates to you more often, more frequently, and stay tuned for more.